Today on the Crooked Pigs Barbecue channel, we're putting on the Super Bowl of sliders. Every year at my Super Bowl party, I like to put on an iconic food from one team's hometown and an iconic food from the other team's hometown and let them battle head to head among my guests to decide who should win the Super Bowl of appetizers. Well, this year, we're doing sliders. So from Kansas City, I have a Kansas City burn-end slider with a few twists and turns that I use to make it my own. I'll show you how to do that. We're also doing an iconic Philly cheesesteak out on the grill on a flat top and putting that together for our guests. And we'll let them decide and we'll let you decide which hometown wins the Super Bowl of sliders. For our Philadelphia cheesesteak slider, we are going to start with some thinly sliced ribeye. It's important that you get this ribeye thinly sliced because we're going to cook it on a flat top. We want it to cook really quickly. We want it to be seasoned all the way through, and we don't want it to be a difficult bite on the sandwich. We want it to be a nice, easy chew. We want it to mix well with our onions, well with our cheese, and we want to have multiple layers of thinly sliced meat in the sandwich. So thinly sliced ribeye is key for an authentic Philly cheesesteak. We've got some slider-sized hoagie rolls. We're gonna use those to compose our slider-sized Philly cheesesteak. I've got some thinly sliced onions. It's important to, again, slice these thin. We want them to caramelize on the grill as we're cooking those with the thinly sliced ribeye. And I also have some cheese. We got two cheeses we're gonna put on this Philadelphia cheesesteak. The first is a white American, the second is a provolone. There's much debate over which cheese is traditional on a classic Philly cheesesteak. Many people will say Cheese Whiz. I'm not a huge fan. I do like a little bit of the mouthfeel from the processed cheese, which we get out of the white American, but I like the flavor of a classic provolone. This is a not smoked provolone. That's my favorite for the Philly cheesesteak. So we're gonna go out to the grill. I've got the flat top getting hot on our gas grill, and we're gonna get started cooking this Philly cheesesteak for our head-to-head Super Bowl slider showdown. All right, we're out here at the gas grill. I've got a cast iron flat top on the gas grill. It's preheated. We're gonna start with our onions, but before we do, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of butter. It's already seasoned with some vegetable oil, but I'm gonna hit this with a little butter, get this thing ripping, because butter makes everything better. And we're gonna get our onions going on here. We're gonna spread these out in a nice thin layer. I like to cook the onions first because I feel like the steak tastes better when it's cooked on the grill, on the griddle, after onions have been cooked. So we'll let these start going for a little while here. But before we do, we're gonna season them up just a little. So today I've got this Memphis Original Stackhouse rub. My buddy up in Washington gave me this with Booty's Barbecue. Chris, shout out to Chris. This is a great seasoning. I use it on brisket, and I'm gonna use it today on our Philly cheesesteak. So we'll just put a little bit on those onions. All right, we're back. We've got our onions caramelizing some. We're gonna start putting this sliced ribeye on the grill here. Yeah, I hear that sizzle. It's nice and hot. All right. You don't wanna overcrowd this grill, but we wanna just put some of these thin sliced pieces of ribeye on. When it's sliced thin, they start to come apart a little bit. That's what you want, because we're gonna chop these up as we go and make sure that we've got some nice small pieces for our sandwich. There we go. We'll get one more piece on here. This will be enough for about 3 sliders, I'd say. All right, now let's get those seasoned. More of our Stackhouse. Move that over a hair. All right, we're gonna hit them with a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper. It's a nice windy day out here, so we're gonna have to deal with a little wind noise, but I'm gonna toss this cooked ribeye onto the other side. And now we're gonna try to chop it up just a little here. Just get this pulled apart with the grain a little. That's how you want it, so that there's a nice, easy chew on that sandwich. You don't want people to have to pull that meat apart as they bite. You want it to just be nice and chopped up a little. You can see how nice this ribeye pulls apart. You could do this with a cheaper cut, but boy, you can't beat some ribeye in a sandwich. All right, we got that pulled apart a little bit there. Now we're gonna mix these onions in. Got a nice good brown on the side of those underside of those onions. All right, we'll mix that up a little. Continue to pull some of these big pieces apart. All right, we're gonna hit these with a little more seasoning. And we're gonna close the lid. All right, we've got a pan cooked or set to medium-high heat or so here. You're gonna throw in a little bit of butter. Gonna mix that around a little. I'm gonna toast these rolls before that beef and onions is done outside for these Philly cheesesteaks. So we're gonna let those go. Get about 3 rolls in this pan, probably. You can do these ahead. You don't need a hot roll for that Philly. All right, we're back. We've got a nice brown on these onions, a good sear on that steak. We're gonna line this up about how we want to put them on rolls. Stretch it out a little bit over the griddle here. And now I'm gonna put cheese on top. So we're gonna do both, that white American and the provolone. So here we go. Got the white American. Throw one slice on here. Oop. Those two stuck together. Another one here. And the third here. We got about enough for three sliders on here. And we're gonna hit them on top with some provolone. Just like that. And we're gonna close the lid, let that melt, and we'll be back and we'll put it on our nice toasted hoagie roll. All right, we're back. We've got our cheese melted here. I got these separated into 3 piles. These are gonna go on our hoagie rolls. See, we got a nice toasted hoagie here. We butter toasted that on our stove. I'm gonna drop that in. And that's ready to rock. You could serve that with mayo, or just the way it is. I'm gonna take another one of these off here. Drop it on that roll. And we've got our Philly cheesesteak sliders. We'll come back and show you the head-to-head here with these Kansas City burn-in sliders as soon as they're done. We'll be right back. Slider. Now we're gonna work on the Kansas City Chiefs burn-in slider. So I've got a brisket point here on my cutting board. If we can have the cameraman pan down. Okay, here we go. This is a Snake River Farms brisket point that I've separated a comp. As anyone knows who sees us on the competition circuit, we simply cook the flat and turn in sliced flat at competitions. That may change this year. We might experiment a little more with turning in burn-ins, but I like that because I can save the point for home, make things like this slider for the Super Bowl. So I've got a smoked brisket point here. I'm gonna slice this into burn-in slices. So what I'm gonna try to do is square this up so you can make nice square sandwiches. At home, you don't gotta do this because this is good meat, but you can cut that off and put it on its own separate slider. I just like to make it a little uniform so we can have some nice square burn-ins to make that appearance on our slider nice. For those of us who've been following our channel, I'd like to tell you about a brisket class we're going to be doing in Salt Lake, but also if you don't follow our channel, go ahead and click like and subscribe to our channel so you can get all of our updates that are coming. But for those of you interested, we'll be the last weekend of March, I believe March 31st, we'll be cooking a brisket class at Pitmaster Supply Company, courtesy of Jesse Johnson in Salt Lake City, Utah. So there's a few spots still available if you want to sign up and check out how we cook our comp brisket. You'll see how we make this brisket point. All right, now let's go back down to the cutting board. I'm gonna go ahead and slice this up into chunks. I'm gonna cut it right in the middle first because it's got a natural tendency to break right there. And we're gonna do these about 1 inch by 1 inch. So we can drop a few of those on. So point, you can cook it till it's nice and melty, but it's gonna still have a little bit of chew to it. So I just wanna do these about how I do my comp burn ends, 1 inch by 1 inch. And we're gonna stack a couple of these on each slider. All right, so you can see, we've got nice 1 inch by 1 inch cubes. I might have those a little more uniform if I were to comp, but for our slider, those will be just fine. This end's a little bit thicker, so you may not need quite as many on a slider. All right, here we go. So if I were to comp, I'd be turning in these ones because they'd sit better in the box, but on that slider. These are gonna be just great. Okay, now what we'd like to do with this is put just a little barbecue sauce on it. We'll put it back out on the grill and toss it up so we can get a little more smoke on it. Today I'm using a little Smoke This smoky chipotle barbecue sauce. This is great. It's popular on the competition circuit, or it's starting to get popular. I'm gonna throw a little of that on there, and I'm gonna cut that with a little bit of Blues Hog Smoky Mountain. Put a little bit of that on. Now, a lot of you may be saying, what, he's not making his own barbecue sauce? That's right, I'm using a commercial sauce. There are so many good commercial sauces out there. I mean, I can make a good homemade sauce, and one day we'll do a video for you, show you how to do that. It's a little cheaper maybe if you make it in quantities, but boy, nothing beats some of these commercial sauces. Tim Shear at Blues Hog has really got that, that Blues Hog stuff dialed. I mean, if I had one sauce, homemade, any commercial sauce, if I could only choose one, I would choose Blues Hog. So, check out blueshog.com. You can order some of that stuff for any of your local barbecue retailers. Okay, we've got those tossed just a little bit in that. I'm actually gonna sprinkle a little bit of barbecue rub on top of those. Let's see what I pulled out of the cupboard today. I've got all queued up Rockin' Rooster. Just gonna hit those with a little bit of that. And we're gonna get those back out on the grill, and I'll bring them in when they've just had about 10 minutes of smoke, and we'll start plating up the sandwich. All right, we're back here at my stove. I told you that we've got a few twists and turns that we're gonna do on this Kansas City burn-in slider. So the first one of those is we're going to take some halloumi cheese. If you've never had halloumi, it's great. You might have to go to a specialty grocer to find some. There's a local dairy called Ballard Farms here in the Boise area that makes some halloumi. So we're gonna take that halloumi. The great thing about it is you can grill it in a pan, and it tastes like a grilled cheese sandwich with no bread. So we're gonna throw these on. Need a little more heat on those. Throw all those in the pan. I've got these sliced like 1/8 of an inch thick, okay? We're gonna cover the bottom of the pan. All right, we're gonna let those brown up. We'll be back when we turn it. All right, we're back here. We got these nice and brown on one side. We're gonna turn these over and brown the other. I'm telling you, if you've never tried halloumi cheese, you gotta go find some. It's delicious. All right, we're back for the next twist that we're going to add to this burn-in slider sandwich. If you've ever eaten barbecue in Kansas City, you'll know many times you'll get a pickle on your plate with your burn-ins or whatever barbecue order. So we've got some hamburger sliced pickles here. I'm gonna put them in some Louisiana chicken batter, just a package of batter we purchased at the store. You can make your own batter too, but I find this is just easier for something like pickles. So we're gonna drop these in here into the liquid portion of the batter. Let them all go here. I've got some vegetable oil preheated here to 325. We're gonna get these in this brine portion of the batter. I've let these drain for a couple hours so they can get a little dry. You gotta toss them in here a little. And after they go in here, they're gonna go right into the dry portion of the batter. This is a quick and easy batter mix you can get in any grocery store. It's Louisiana chicken batter. It really turns out nice, especially on something like this. Saves you a little time. If I'm gonna make my own chicken sandwich at home, man, I'll make my own batter, but this is a quick, easy, and cheap alternative to, and Super Bowl, I wanna enjoy my friends and family and not just be making batter and everything. So we're gonna toss these a little in here. And I've got that oil preheated to about 325. All right, those are battered nicely. I'm gonna set them here. I'm gonna double check my temp with the Thermopan. Thermopans don't really liquid too well. Oh, we're a little hot. We're closer to 350. I'll back that off. We can go ahead and drop these in. Looks like 350 is just fine. You could probably go ahead at 350. Gonna foam a little, but this will calm down here once we get all these in here. All right, we got one batch of pickles going. It's enough for several sliders. You can fry these way ahead too. It doesn't probably matter if they're hot for your sandwich. We're just gonna let those crisp up a little. And while they're doing that, I'm going to grab a plate, put them on. Just keep checking them periodically. You can already tell they're getting crisp, but we want those to be nice and brown. Stir those a little. I'll show you how they look right now. Those are not done. They need a little more brown on them. They will start to float to the top as soon as they're done, or when they're about done. I want to have a nice brown on these. You don't want any blonde pickles on your sandwich. All right, we're back. These pickles are just starting to brown, so we're going to take these out. We don't want them to be too dark. That's about right. We're going to put these on a plate, take them over to our board, and start assembling our next slider. Ooh, they're nice and crispy. That's perfect. Oh, you can hear that crisp. That's great. All right, we'll take these over to the table and assemble our slider. All right, we're back at the board. We've got our tossed burnt ends that went out back on the smoker for a little while. They're ready to rock. I've got some beautiful brioche slider rolls. Warm these up just slightly. Now we're gonna cut them open. For this sandwich, we're not gonna grill these rolls. I want these to be sort of like the bread you get on the side of a barbecue plate, the white bread, a little sweet, nice and soft and fresh. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna take 2 burnt ends per slider. You could stick 3 on there maybe, but I like the 2. We're gonna have other stuff besides these sliders, or besides the burnt ends on the slider. Okay, and we're gonna take a nice piece of our halloumi cheese. I'm gonna put that on each one of those. That gives it a little crunch, a little more salt, a little creaminess. And we're gonna hit these with a couple of pickles and push down so they stay. Each one's gonna get a pickle, 2 pickles. All right, then we're gonna come back with our smoke this chipotle sauce. And we're just gonna drizzle a little of this on top of each one, if it comes out, just like that. Perfect. And those are ready for head-to-head with the Philly cheesesteak. Let's just put the tops on each one. Man, your guests are gonna love this slider. I don't know which of these is gonna win, but we'll let you guys decide in the comments. All right, we'll be back with our head-to-head. And there you have it, folks, your Super Bowl slider showdown, your Kansas City burnt end barbecue slider versus your Philly cheesesteak slider. Make this for your guests at your Super Bowl party. Let us know in the comments below what you liked about this recipe, which one you think wins the Super Bowl slider showdown. What a fun way to entertain your guests and have your own little Super Bowl showdown at your party with the appetizers and food products you serve. Again, make this recipe, tell us what you like in the comments, and thank you for watching the Crooked Pigs Barbecue channel.